Welcome to my channel. Today's day one of documenting my lifting journey. I love lifting weights. I'm really into fitness. I love going to the gym, and my friends told me I should just start recording everything I do because I'm bound to end up yapping about lifting and weights and my diet all day regardless. So figured I might as well throw a camera in front of it. But for day one, it's leg day, and I'm just coming off of a cold, so this is gonna be an interesting one. You know, the symptoms finally came down a little bit, but we'll see what happens. You know, I'm bound to get woozy on leg days usually, but we'll see what happens today. Maybe we'll take it a little bit easier, but we'll see. I'm not in a bulk or a cut right now. I just came off of I want to say a 3-month cut beginning around April, ending in June, and we got down about 15 pounds from there. I started at around 185. This was coming off of the end of a quite long bulk. I don't know exactly when I began, but a pretty serious bulk, put on some serious mass, and then we cut down. It was finally time from 185 down to 170. I'm only 5'8", so being at 185 was a little crazy, a little freaky, you might say. But cut back down to 170, feeling a little bit more limber on the limbs, you know, joints feeling a little bit better. You know, 185 was a little brutal, I will say. You know, everybody's a fan of the bulk, of being heavy and big and strong, and I will say that was fun. But you know, sometimes it's nice to take it easy a little bit. Food is definitely not an issue for me when it comes to things like the bulk. I love the bulk, maybe a little bit too much. And the cut is really the issue for me. That's the real grind. In my natural state, let's face it, I'm an animal. I end up eating, like, I want to say between like 3,000 to like 3,300 calories a day, which is a little high for somebody of my height and weight, but I mean, at the same time, I am pretty active. I'm a college student and I'm lifting, and I also do cardio with my workouts. So I end up being right around maintenance, maybe a little bit of a surplus. I was slightly on the chubbier side before starting my my lifting, like in high school. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious that like that was really my natural state. I'm an eater through and through. But where was I going with that? I don't know. The cut is really the challenge when it comes to fitness for me. But I feel like focusing on the cardio helps a little bit. Anyways, back to the main goal of today, leg day. You know, I'm a little intimidated by it today. My last couple of leg days have been slightly hairy, you could say. A little bit barbaric, you could even say. Our last leg day was a quad-focused leg day. I run a push-pull leg split, kind of like an 8-day split, kind of like C-Bum. C-Bum used to do his 8-day routine. I don't know what he does now, but I was doing a quads day last time, and we might have pushed that one a little bit too hard. I was feeling nauseous and dizzy for like an hour and a half after that workout. Might take it a little easier on hamstrings today. That's what we got on the agenda. For hamstrings, I'm thinking RDLs, heavy RDLs, not too heavy though. We'll bring in the lifting straps for those, just so the forearms don't limit us on that lift. And no, maybe I'll start with leg curls. I think we'll start with hamstring curls on the hamstring curl machine if it isn't taken, and then we'll move on to heavy RDLs. You know, get a nice little pump going, 2-3 good grinding sets on those hamstring curls, and then some heavy RDLs just to kind of, I don't know, finish it off. I like to do RDLs after doing my hamstring curls, and even though they're a harder lift, and you know, usually you do want to do like your, I guess I prefer to do my lifts that are more fatiguing first and then going on to like slightly easier lifts. But with hamstrings, I don't know, I really like the feeling of the RDLs after already having worked my hamstrings just a touch on the hamstring curl machine. But 6 total sets of that should be good enough. You know, 3 on the hamstring curls. I don't count my warm-up sets. 3 heavy RDL sets. And I think that should be good for hamstrings, but might sprinkle in a little bit of quads. maybe just a little bit of leg extensions. Recently, a problem I've been finding with leg extension machines in general is that they just don't have enough weight. I've been having to switch from double leg to single leg, which I know is a pretty common experience for most advanced lifters, but I don't know. I like that feeling of the double leg extension for sure on the quads. I don't know. I feel a better like mind muscle connection, but we might just have to go single leg since we're maxing out that machine. But yeah, we'll do some leg extensions, and then I like to throw in adductors. I'm a fan of working the adductors. I think it adds to your squat overall stability. I think it's a useful movement. I'm not a huge fan of abduction. I don't really know the science behind all this stuff, but I'm not sure. I just feel like the abduction, I'm not really getting much going on. It doesn't work for me. But yeah, it's gonna be a good leg day. I don't usually hit calves. I kind of already have big calves. I've never really worried about targeting them, but yeah. Normally after my lifts, I do like to do cardio, but leg days, I don't know. It's a little tough to do cardio after leg days. Although I did have a little bit of golf planned for after the lift, but it looks like that's gonna get canceled today. It's looking quite dreadful outside. Lots of thunderclouds. Some nasty ones, actually. That's looking animalistic. Yeah. But probably no more golf today. I'm gonna have to cancel on my friend. Range will definitely be closed off, so looking like a no-go. Although what I do have planned for the evening is, you're gonna hate me for this one. Have you ever heard of the game Rust? Now listen, hear me out. I know what you're thinking. What the hell, dude? You're playing Rust? That's the worst game ever. Okay, I hear you, man, but listen. Rust is a great game. It's fun. Okay, no. It's fun. Trust me. I love it when I get raided and I get all my stuff stolen, and hours of work just go down the drain overnight. But I think that's what makes the game fun, man. I mean, the fact that you can just lose everything. Every moment is precious, Anyways, I'm going down a rabbit hole here. Yeah, definitely gonna get in a nice dinner after this lift today. My appetite has been non-existent, especially since I got the cold, which is a little strange for me. I think I've had, I want to say 1,000 calories, and it is nearing the end of the day. I usually try to aim for, in my main gain times, around 2,600 to 900, just range of calories. Get that like 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight in those macros. I think we've done okay on the protein today. We're sitting at around like 70 grams of protein and 1,000 calories, which is pretty good, but I definitely don't want to be 1,000 under. And one day, it's just a drop in the water if you're looking at like your overall diet, but still, I like to keep things consistent. We'll see. We might have to hit up Chipotle afterwards and get a monster bowl. I've been stacking up points on the Chipotle account, scanning that bad boy for months, probably a year at this point actually, and I haven't used the rewards a single time. I don't know. We could probably get a nice little free bowl after this. I guess that depends on how well this leg day goes, huh? But yeah, things are gonna get nasty here in a little bit. Yeah. Plan for the workout. I think, yeah, we're gonna do hamstring curls, RDLs heavy, and I'm gonna sprinkle in a little bit of quads, just a few sets. The leg extension most likely, unless it's taken, then we might have to do leg press or something like that. Something a little bit easier after those heavy RDLs. Do some adductors, and then finish off for the night. All right. starting with quads, not ideal, but it's just what we gotta do today. It's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, you know? You never know what machines are gonna be taken. But we'll make do. Nearly forgot about my electrolyte mix. I like using the liquid IV. That's definitely my favorite. Couldn't find the no sugar ones last time though, but you still work just fine. Not too high in calories, and they definitely make a difference. I can definitely feel a difference in my workout quality with electrolytes. Normally like to drink them in the morning. Forgot to today, but I find they still help. Man, pardon the interruption. Got an important call from the sister, but anyways, forgot where I was at. Oh yeah, electrolytes. A huge fan. I would highly recommend. Really, the only supplements I take are creatine. I guess you could count protein powder. I only really use that if I know I'm cooked on my protein for the day. But that and electrolytes. Really, everything else I personally think is very optional. Creatine already, the differences are, I would say, marginal. I mean, there is a noticeable improvement. You feel it's not something other people will notice. More so, you'll notice it. Myself, I feel a little bit fuller, a little bit rounder, a little bit stronger. But you might notice a little bit of a weight increase, I suppose, 3 to 4 pounds for me usually. But really, electrolytes, I think, are a game changer, especially on my leg days. I would get nauseous before I started using them, but on to the final set. Had to cut out set 2, but here we go. And that's gonna be it for quads. Hopefully that hamstring curl's open. I'll see what's that. Thankfully, hamstring machine open, so the rest of the workout's a go. I just did my warm-up set. Usually before each thing I do, I like to do like, I don't know, one very quick light warm-up set. I don't normally take any rest between my warm-up and when my actual set is beginning. I feel like if you need it, you're probably going too heavy on your warm-up, but I don't know, just something to get the muscle group like a little bit warm before starting that specific movement. As you might notice, my setup here with the camera is a little chopped. I have no experience filming videos, but we'll make do. It's animalistic, it's barbaric, but it is what it is, as long as it works. This was quite possibly the worst setup I could have done for the camera. I'm just looking at this right now, post-editing. Oh my god, this was atrocious. I'm going to get a tripod ASAP. To be honest with you, I don't know what was going through my head here. I mean, this was terrible. I mean, at least I got the video done, but like, come on, this is atrocious. I'm sorry. We'll get better next time. Yeah, this is absolutely terrible. You can't even see what I'm doing, bro. What the heck was I thinking? You know, at this point, I'm just trashing myself. Whatever. Well, we're not quite at the point of needing to go single leg on the hamstrings, thankfully, but getting quite close to maxing out the machine here. As you can see, we had 205. This one goes up to 250, 260 if you count that extra pin at the top. But yeah, this may become a problem soon enough. I know I've seen those attachments you can buy online that you can add to machines. It's like the pin thing where you can put the plate into it, but I don't really know how I feel about those. I feel like it could be dangerous, you know, maybe overloading the machine more than it's meant to go. But I don't know. I've seen some pretty diabolical stuff online, but not sure if it's worth it. Might just end up switching to single leg. I know at other gyms I've been to, I've seen those isolateral machines that are meant for single leg extension or curl, but they don't have that one here. But that's okay. You know, I usually lift at my school rec, my college rec center, and you never know what machine you're gonna get open there. I mean, it is monstrous. There's people all over the place just on every machine, man. I mean, you're not gonna have a day where you go in and you're not waiting on a machine. It's just not gonna happen. And you know, sometimes you could wait till machines open up, I'm sure, but personally, I'm a little impatient, and I don't think it's a bad thing to try out different machines. I really don't think the specific machine you do matters to such a big extent, even if a certain machine is worse than another. Like say you don't really like the flat chest press machine compared to the incline one. Well, the incline one's always taken at my rec, and sometimes I have to settle for that flat one, but I don't think it's a big deal. It's not my favorite movement, but make do with what you have. But anyways, it's enough yapping. On to the second set. Man, tough today. A little weaker than usual, for sure. Still feeling the after effects of being sick, but gotta take it easy. I'm normally a click higher, usually run 220, and I try to push a little bit closer to failure. I mean, well, maybe I did push it to failure right now, but it's okay. That's besides the point. Taking it slightly easy. Definitely don't want to leave this workout over fatigued. Now on the last one, my last leg day, I said it was a quad focused one. I fell to the temptations of going a little too crazy on the half squat. Loaded up 3 plates. I was on my first vacation of the year. Prior to this, mind you, just for some context, had taken maybe 2 weeks off of not lifting totally, but I wasn't able to access leg machines while traveling, so I didn't do legs for a couple of weeks, and this was my first real leg day back into it, and I went a little too crazy. I think sometimes there's value in going hard, but not too hard. I don't know about all the science-based lifters and the, you know, like, oh, don't fatigue yourself too much. That's you're gonna hinder your maximum gains output. All right, bro. As much as I love the science-based lifting, it's a little crazy. And, you know, I think there's value in pushing it hard beyond just prioritizing muscle growth. I think it's good for you mentally, on some David Goggins type of stuff. But yeah. All right, let's finish this. There's hamstring curls. On to RDLs now, where you find an open rack. It is right past 5 p.m., so this is peak gym hours. Let's see what we can get cooking. Got an open rack, thankfully. Just did a warm-up set with the bar for those RDLs. Really felt that tear. Not that tear, not a tear. I did tear my hamstring a couple years ago in high school, but it's besides the point. That's a story for another day. I felt that crazy stretch, you know, coming right off of those hamstring curls. It's nasty. I would highly recommend 3 hard sets of hamstring curls, 2 if you're really pushing the weight, and then getting over, do some, I said heavy earlier, I mean more like a moderately high weight RDL. Man, that feeling is otherworldly. I'll catch you on my real set now. Sheesh. That was a nice set there. I think a plate and a half, 185 pounds is gonna be good for today. Normally I like to do around 2 to 3. When I get closer to 3, that's when I throw in my straps. You might notice I didn't use my straps. To be honest with you, I don't really need them until I get pretty high, like closer to my, like 80% of my 1RM. But I left him in the car, made a judge, like a quick split decision judgment when I got to the gym. Left him behind just to make sure I wouldn't go too heavy. And you know, this is, I want to say this is 50% of my RDL max, but I'm already feeling it. I think the cardio has taken a little bit of a hit with the illness, but it's okay. I'm still feeling good, you know, a little fatigued, but nothing crazy. But again, the main focus here, trying to feel that big stretch in the quads, more so than worrying about the weight. I think I just thought of something good for after this second set right here to talk about. It's pushing the heaviest weight you can versus pushing the heaviest weight you can control. Now, those are 2 different things, and I found out the hard way when I hit my first plateau. I used to, in my old training style a couple years ago, I was pushing the heaviest weight I could for like around, I want to say like 6 to 8 reps a set, maybe 10 if I was feeling really good. But you know, things weren't, I don't know, I wasn't really growing. I stagnated for like a year, So I knew something was off, and that's when I changed my training style and made the discovery of pushing the heaviest weight you can control. And that changed everything. I started feeling things more, started getting more of a pump. I know that's not directly correlated with muscle growth, but you know, that was the difference changer for me. I dropped the ego down a little bit, and the weights really didn't go down by much. You would think that you'd have to drop a lot, but if you drop that ego a little bit, don't always try to be operating at maximum capacity. Drop your weights down a little bit. Like I was shoulder pressing, for example, 55 pounds, stuck there for 55-pound dumbbells, stuck there for a year, wasn't improving. Then finally I was like, man, I gotta slow this down. I dropped down to 45s, really humbled me. And I started going a little slower on my reps, making sure I was fully controlling the whole rep. And what I noticed after I switched was that before, I wasn't noticing it, but I was using momentum a little bit on every rep, and it was enough to slow me down. But yeah, it's a good tip if you're plateaued, change your training style. You don't necessarily have to do what I did, but changing your training can often help break your plateau if you've been stuck while doing the same things. That one kicked the crap out of me. It really is humbling. Take just a couple weeks off of legs and you come back and it's like this. It's like the start again. Free plug to my 0 total subscribers. I love this protein brand, Rise. It's great. Use code Noel. I love Daddy Noel. Yeah, but using the weight you can control compared to the most weight you can push, it's definitely a game changer. And it not only worked for me, I mean, I know this is anecdotal evidence, but worked for a lot of my friends who were also plateaued. Now, I'm sure there's some scientific background. I've heard this from coaches and all kinds of people. I think it makes logical sense. I mean, if you're always doing the same thing, I find that eventually you're kind of gonna get used to it or reach some sort of threshold that you can't really break unless you change something. But really, it's all semantics. As long as you're pushing it, relatively hard and eating well, I think the diet's really that more important part. You're going to be fine. You're going to make progress. I'm on year 6 of year 7. Call me Unk, man. Year 7 of training, and to be honest with you, I really only started seeing results when I changed my diet. So for my 4 years of high school, I was training, I want to say 4 times a week, and I was getting stronger, but not making much mass gains as much as I would have liked. And I don't know, really the only thing that changed between now and then was my diet. When I hit my first year of university, I locked in on the diet. That's when things changed. That was the game changer. My training barely changed. I was training a little bit more frequently. I'd slowly ramped it up over the course of high school, and I got to like a 5 to 6 days a week type of lifting schedule, push-pull legs, with a rest day sprinkled every 2 to 3 days as needed. But
My training didn't change much, nor did the intensity. My diet did, and that's when I really exploded. Over these last couple of years, I've really made big gains compared to my first 4. The only thing that changed was my diet. People underestimate the power of the calorie.
Try again. There we go. 1, 2, just sit. Where are you feeling it most?
Oof. Man, those are fatiguing. Definitely. My biggest pet peeve in the gym is definitely when people don't clean up after themselves with the weights. For sure. I think leaving things uncleaned or not racking your weights is the cardinal sin of the gym, for sure. And what I always think is, you know, imagine I just got done doing a crazy set of incline chest press, and I say threw on like 3.5 plates, and you know, the place you put the plates on is pretty dang high, and then after I'm done, I just leave it all in there. What happens if the next person to come over is either some younger dude or like a girl? And not saying that these people are weak, you know, I'm just saying, like, and they come over and they're not pushing this weight. Like how do you expect them to be able to reach up and clean up after you just made that mess? You know? Or if you don't wipe down your equipment, man, like, come on, don't talk to me. If you don't wipe down your equipment, you're like the same as, you're in like the same tier as Mega Knight players in Clash Royale. No. We're not even gonna mention that one. I would hope everyone is wiping down if they're leaving huge sweat stains on their seats. But taking down the weight's important, I would say, because I would feel really bad if I left something on there and then somebody else had to deal with it, or maybe couldn't deal with it because it was there. Only got to the adductor machine. Usually like to finish with this one. It's a pretty easy movement in my opinion. I can max out the machine. Really the only thing I can do is slow down the reps to try to up that intensity, really feel the tension on more of the eccentric, like the way out compared to like when I'm pushing my legs in. And building the fatigue that way, maybe putting the mechanical tension on the muscle that way rather than on the push. Yeah, taking a little bit of physiology there. We know how the sarcomere works. Shout out Jeff Nippert. But anyways, gonna push them hard. I like to spam a couple sets of these just till I feel nice and pumped up on the sus machine. Don't get any funny ideas. All right, let's go. tell you what, though, on the first set of those, I feel like I'm getting torn apart. It's always crazy. I have to go a little bit lighter on the weight usually on that first set, just so I don't tear something, you know. But it's all good. This one here only goes up to 260. This is one of those situations where I was talking about with the pin on the machine. Wish I had one of those at this point, because on this one I'm starting to really feel the diminishing returns that come with being limited by the weight. So it's good about things like free weights. You don't really get limited, at least not at my size, when you're doing like an incline dumbbell press. I'm never doing the 160s. Like who am I kidding here, you know? But I don't like to take too much rest on these, just to make sure I keep that fatigue up, get the pump going. The second set. Yeah, I think we definitely need to get a tripod, because this is starting to get a little crazy. It's okay though, I know you guys are gonna like that angle. But I'm sorry, it's time for the animals to get banished. We're getting that tripod. We're gonna have a true professional setup, and that's what we are here, professionals, you know. The real question is, how am I gonna fund that? I'm no gambler, so don't get excited about that one. It's a bad idea. But I'm sure we can come up with something cheap. We'll see. One more set here. Should be good for this leg day. This one wasn't anything crazy. It felt honestly closer to cardio, but I think that was sufficient. Coming off of being sick, you never want to push it too crazy, like I just said. Yeah, might have a special workout coming towards you guys tomorrow. But anyways, I'm gonna crank out my last set. Just ripped out some sweat, bro. Might have to wipe that down, but I'll catch you guys later at the car. See ya. Good thing we canceled that golf round. The rain is coming down like pretty bad while I was inside, but it's pretty crazy now. Well, not as bad now, but still, it's still dropping. Range is definitely going to be closed, but I might have to be pushing the new ladder on Clash Royale today. You know, they changed the trophy road, which has pissed a lot of people off, including this guy right here. You know, I was all happy sitting at my max 9K trophies, but hearing rumors about 15,000 trophies, now I don't know what's going on. Like, you know, I have been a player for 9 years. 9 years I've been playing Clash Royale, and this is how they treat me. I mean, whatever. This isn't a Clash Royale channel. Could be though. Maybe we'll have to add some mid-set Clash Royale at some point, but still need to figure out the deal with recording videos and things of that nature. Definitely need to get a mic. You know, it was a little tough talking in there today. That's what I found, especially with all the noises and stuff. It is a little louder than my usual times. I'm usually more of a either morning or like late night lifter, so like at this gym at least, so it's not usually that packed here at home. But at university, of course, the gym's always packed regardless of what time I go, so it doesn't really matter. But definitely need to get a mic going. This is definitely a learning experience. I'll be learning as I go along here. Would appreciate suggestions and help. Please, I'm begging you. Please help me. Blink 3 times if you're in danger. Anyways, yeah, I need to get a tripod or something. I don't really know what's going on. I'm recording on my phone, as you could probably tell by now, but I love lifting.
It's really all I do, man. It's my main hobby. It's what brings me joy in my free time. I like having a goal to always work towards, and this is something that never ends. And that's a lot of things I like to do. Golf, Rainbow Six Siege. Don't get me started. Clash Royale, lifting. You can never be completely, you know, mastered at any of those things unless you're like Tiger Woods, obviously. But it's nice to have something to always improve on and always like try to, you know, master the craft. And I feel like that brings purpose and meaning into life. If you haven't read Marcus Aurelius, I would highly suggest Meditations. If you don't want to read it, there's a good YouTube video breakdown of Meditations. It's like a summary. I think it was 40 minutes. It was, I don't remember the guy's name. I would tell you the dude's channel if I could remember it, but it's a great video. It's the most viewed one. He goes over the main points from Meditations, and I found that pretty profound. It's look after Marcus Aurelius. There's good lessons to take from Stoic philosophy. I think it's if not taken to the extreme, it's a very healthy way of looking at things, you know. Taking accountability, working hard, controlling what you can control, not what's out of your control. But going on another tangent, this isn't a philosophy channel. Well, it could be a philosophy channel. I'm a big fan of philosophy. Intro to Ethics was one of my favorite classes I took in university, for sure. It was very interesting. We discussed a wide variety of philosophers. I almost picked up a philosophy minor. Almost did. We covered some in high school too. My high school humanities teacher was great. That's really where my interest for philosophy started. But yeah, anyways, back to the gym topic. I really don't have any idea what I'm doing or what's happening. It's a little embarrassing to record out in public, I would say, but you know, it's what I love to do. My like common daily experience of like lifting at the gym is I'm having these same conversations, but a little bit more animated with my friends or my lifting buddy. I have a consistent lifting partner back home at college on campus at the rec, but you know, he's not in town. Obviously now he's gone for the summer. But yeah, no, I have these same conversations anyways. I'm always yapping about the gym, and it's repetitive, it's the same thing, but I figured I might as well throw it on camera, just cause might as well get something productive out of it too, you know. I mean, more so than just like the benefits of lifting and health and all that, you know. But yeah, it brings me peace. It's very calming. Going into university, I was a little lost my first year, for sure. I mean, it was a very big change to my life, as it is for you know, as everybody understands that's gone to college. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was excited to go, but the last summer before university, my friend group was like, had really fully like solidified over the course of the senior year, and we were having a blast. I'd always had two very, very close friends early in high school and before that as well. They were always like, we were always all very close. Like we were kind of a trio. But as it moved on, junior and senior year, like slowly my friend group like solidified. I live in a smaller town, and that's really when we started all having fun as like a big group. And that was like my favorite summer of all time. They've been getting better since then. It's been crazy, but that summer like stood out for sure. So fun. And you know, at the end of it, everyone was going different places, different universities, some far, some close. And you know, I was kind of apprehensive to split up, but going to college, it was a little lonely for sure at first. Well, really the whole first year. I didn't have a great experience my first year. I did great academically. I've always been good academically, so that was never really my concern. But I don't know, socially it was a little tough. I'm not much of a partier, and I do go to more of a party school, I would say. So it was a little tough making friends. I didn't have trouble like, you know, socializing and talking to people. That wasn't an issue, but I'm not much of a bar goer, or, you know, it's just not what I do. I don't judge it, of course, but it just isn't for me. I'm more of a fan of just like hanging out and going playing pick up basketball, lifting. But most everybody I met, I think this was just luck of the draw I just got dealt not great hand my first year. I had an interesting living situation. Wasn't ideal. It was a little loud, so sleep wasn't incredible, but that's like, the guys were cool. I can't really blame them. But everybody wants to party freshman year, and it was a little tough. Everybody I met just wanted to go out to the bars, and I don't know, I just didn't really want to do that. But lifting was kind of like my outlet, It gave me, I was already doing that in high school, but I feel like I was only lifting in high school because everybody else was lifting. And I kind of started because, well, my whole school played football. Everybody was playing football. So, some of my friends were, so I lifted too. But anyways, I don't know. I was lifting because everybody else was lifting. And I also just I was like, oh, I want to look good. I want to be strong. You know how it starts. But I don't know. Going into college, I realized the value of it. And I was thinking about things I didn't want to lose, after finishing high school. And I was thinking, fitness and health is important, especially for the future. I mean, there's so many benefits past just looking good for that. I'm definitely I'll call myself a bodybuilding enthusiast, but I don't want to, turn into a mass monster. As cool as, some of those guys are, Mr. Ronnie Coleman, Mr. Chris Bumstead, Sam Sulik is definitely my favorite fitness YouTuber. But I don't know. I just kept doing it. I stuck to it in college. The days were hard, but I still kept going to the gym. And I'm happy I did, because it kept me grounded. I feel like it gave me a good outlet to keep my emotions in check and everything, And I'm happy I did, because it really paid off. I really dove into it super seriously, especially with really my diet. My training was, I had I want to call it semi-professional training, almost in high school. The coaches were great. I learned form and everything, and I knew about movements, and I kind of understood body mechanics on a basic extent. But I got really, really serious going into college. I really dialed in on my diet, and I was always kind of I want to say skinny fat, not exactly, but it really didn't look like I was lifting for 4 years, let's just say. Even though I lifted consistently all 4 years of high school with good intensity. I got much stronger, but really the muscle growth wasn't there. And it was slightly more athletic training. I was training under a football type of program, but the movements we were doing still were good for some sort of muscle growth, but I really wasn't seeing much muscle growth results. And I think that was because my diet was atrocious. To just leave it at that. I mean, I always thought my diet was good, that I was eating quote unquote high protein and not super crazy on the calories. Whoa. I'm not dying, I promise. Anyways, I thought I was doing great, but definitely not. Until once I really started tracking, I realized I was cooked beyond measure. So yeah, highly recommend tracking macros. That's a talk for another day. I'll discuss that tomorrow. I know Sam Sulik is big on tracking the macros down to the very last minute detail. Thank you, Homelander. But yeah, no, tracking macros. Once I started doing that, realized my diet really was bad. I feel like that my diet change going into college, I really focused on getting relatively cheap, high quality protein sources. Things like eggs, whey, whole meats, things like red meat or chicken, fish, protein bars, and protein shakes, supplement when I'm missing protein. But I try to get most of my stuff from actual foods. Stay away from the trashy options on campus dining. There's always healthy options you could find. I mean, there's things everywhere. You just have to avoid the pizzas and the burgers, really, or minimize them. I mean, I'm a big fan of the cheat meal, for sure. But I think it's more of a lifestyle, just getting used to eating healthy. I like to have 2 good meals in the day where I've been a good little boy, and then one of them I'll go a little crazy, whether it's on the calories or maybe some subpar quality of food on one of them. But just as long as it's in the macros and it's on your goal, it'll be good. But yeah, no, I'm happy. Anyways, I got sidetracked. That diet change, really making sure I focused on getting in protein, and I did do a bulk and a cut. I'm not sure how much it worked. but I did see results. I will say that. I probably would have been more effective if I just did a more moderate calorie amount and stayed on a main gain. But I put on more mass that year than I did in my first, in like the 4 years of training I was doing. And that's probably because my diet was totally out of whack. You know, some confounding variables could definitely be the fact that maybe I was like reaching some final stages of like natural, you know, human growth and from like adolescence to like young adulthood, but you never know. I don't know. I did get significantly stronger in the gym, and I was putting up bigger numbers, definitely getting bigger mass-wise myself, and putting on a significant amount of mass. But I just repeated myself. Anyways, I don't know. The diet was the the turning point, I think, of my journey in terms of like getting to the physique that I really wanted. More so than the training even. I actually have a theory that like the diet is like 90% of the work. I mean, of course you have to do the workout. That's like the prerequisite to any of this stuff, like working. You're not gonna build muscle without the workout, right? Or lose fat without the cardio, let's just say. If you're not moving, if you're not doing the workout, whatever it is, whether you're trying to build muscle or lose weight or anything, at the end of the day, that's the prerequisite to like getting things started. Then of course the diet is the most important factor if we're assuming you're already doing the workout. Regardless of the workout, I think the diet really dictates and your recovery whether or not like you end up successfully getting those results that you want. Because if your diet is really trashy, how are your muscles going to repair themselves? I mean, if you're not eating any protein, like your body is crafty. I mean, I studied some biochemistry this year. It'll manage, but it doesn't really help if you're going through a lot of extra steps to attempt to like repair your muscles. I don't know. If your diet isn't working well in conjunction with your workout, you're going to be squandering a lot of gains. And I learned that the hard way in high school, eating chips and trash and granola bars and all that garbage. For sure. That was the game changer. And here I am today. I locked in even more this last year. It's my second year of university on my diet, and I made I want to say almost an equal amount of gains as my first year. I took it easier on the bulk and the cut. I did bulk, but it was a softer bulk. I did more of I never dirty bulked in the past, but I did maybe go a little bit too high in the calories, like a touch. But this bulk, I could still see my abs at the peak of the bulk. So I don't think I took it too far. I'm not really a huge body fat percentage guy. Don't really know much about that, but you know. Yeah, I did a little bit of a bulk. Did a main gain, did a small cut. Here I am now. My cut did get a little exaggerated because I stopped taking creatine. I don't know, I ran out, and I think I'm just gonna take a break for the rest of the summer from the creatine. The pockets are feeling the cost of the creatine, man. It's not that expensive, but you know, I gotta watch the expenses a little bit. But yeah, tomorrow we're looking at chest, shoulders, and triceps. That's my push day right there. It's definitely gonna get kind of crazy. I was gonna do a pose down today. I was planning on posing, but not very experienced posing, but I did want to do some posing, you know, kind of to get a baseline for day one of everything. But I don't know, I wasn't feeling it after the gym. I'm a little exhausted today. It's okay. Next time I'll do it on the real leg day. We're gonna do a real hard leg day next time. This one was a little bit more chill. But yeah, you know, the mission now is figure out how the heck I'm going to upload this footage and edit. So that's tonight's journey. We'll see. I'm sure I'll be okay. I think things are gonna work out, but it's all good. Thank you for watching. Maybe we'll have to cook up an intro at some point. You know, this is gonna be a little disastrous learning, but it's a learning experience. I'll get better. It's fun. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you tomorrow for a crazy chest day, hopefully with a guest. We'll see what happens. See if he flakes on me. We'll let you know tomorrow. Peace out.